Yeah, what's going on, Jackson? Yeah, I'm back on here again today. But I want to talk about the Clay Edwards show because there's a lot of things that I've seen that I've been listening to on that Clay Edwards show. Yeah, I know, already know. You ain't got to, look, let me tell you something. Look, look, I'm 51 years old. You ain't got to beat me in the head about nothing. I listen to that show because I be monitoring what he be spewing. Somebody got to do it. Somebody's got to monitor his show because apparently WYAB don't see the negative rhetoric that comes off their show. You know what I'm saying? But his listeners is constantly edging him on and congratulating him on his rhetoric. He has the truth. Okay, if he has the truth, then well, if he has the truth, then what am I saying? Okay, because for one thing, he don't live here in the city of Jackson. That's for one. But number one. Number two, he's always perpetuating the negative aspects of what's going on here in the city. Why should he care? He lives in Rankin County, according to him. Why should he care? You know what I'm saying? I've been here for 30 years. I'm originally from New York. And I've been in just about every neighborhood here in the city of Jackson. Wood Street, Prosperity, Maple Street Apartments, Rebelwood. I've been in all the black neighborhoods here. All of them. ALL. My point is this. Don't speak up on some place where you ain't never been. Don't talk about people that you're afraid to meet. That's all I'm saying. What is he he's doing it for likes and clicks. You know that. You do it for likes and clicks. And the people in the city of Jackson that listens to his rhetoric, and in Rankin County and other places that listens to his rhetoric, keep edging him on, congratulating him on his rhetoric. When he goes into a commercial and comes back, he has it says, "Save Jackson," right? How you saving Jackson and you constantly talking negative about it? You're bringing it down. You should be building it up. You want to save Jackson, you constantly building. We know black folks know what their plight is. Black folks know what their problem is. But why is you constantly perpetuating this negative mess? We know our streets are bad. We know the streets are bad. But yet and still, you know what I'm saying? You're constantly edging it on. Edging it on. Just like today. I don't know. Maybe he ain't got nothing to talk about. Because he comes up with this major city, the most, what was it? The most dangerous cities in the United States. And he'll holler, Jackson's number one. Right? Okay. Why should you care? Why should you care about Detroit? Why should you care about New Orleans? Why should you care about Atlanta? Why should you care about Birmingham? All of these cities are the ones he named. Why should you care about Richmond, Virginia? Why should you care? Oh, because the listeners that listen to you want to get that information out to them. So they know not to go into those cities. So they know what to expect if they go into those cities. Is that what that is? Is that what that is? But see, what he is doing and I'm going to say this to you, Jackson, is potentially creating a commerce problem. Because we know that there are a lot of white businesses here in the city of Jackson. We know that. We know that there's a lot of white employees here in the city of Jackson. You know, and we know that there may be some white business owners that want to come into the city of Jackson and do business. And he could potentially be preventing that from happening by spewing that rhetoric. And I'm quite sure he knows that. Because the people who listen to him may have friends that want to come in here and do business. You see? And I'm quite sure he knows that. I'm not saying that that's what's going on, but I'm saying it could potentially be happening to where people is trying to come in and do business, and you keeping them out with your rhetoric. Oh no, don't go there. No, that's a bad place. That's a bad neighborhood. You ain't gonna get no business over there. See what I'm saying? And then he comes out with this George Floyd thing, saying that George Floyd is the Jesus of black people. And WYAB signs the check. And WYAB signs the check off that negative rhetoric. They don't see anything wrong with it. Man has freedom of speech. He can say what he want to say. That's his constitutional protected right. Well, this is mine's. This is mine's. According to him, he ain't had a real positive life. He used to deal with a lot of, he had a negative aspect of his life at one point. We're talking about Mr. Edwards. According to him. And he, like he said today, he repented. Repent means to go into the other direction. You didn't repent, sir. What he did was, you just stopped doing what you were doing. You didn't repent. Jokers like you don't repent. When you repent, you're repenting your thinking too. Because that stuff in your ears ain't changed. That stuff in between your ears has not changed. You just stopped doing what you was doing. You didn't repent. Because repent is to go into in another direction, and that requires thinking. That requires changing your thoughts. He didn't change his thoughts. He just stopped doing what he was doing. That's all it was. He's always felt that way. He just didn't all of a sudden start saying the things that he said. He's probably been saying it in the private. He didn't have a platform. Now he's got a platform. Now he's able to say it, and he's able to get away with it. Because believe me, when I tell you, there's a lot of that stuff that he say right now. Had it been 20 or 30 years ago, he wouldn't have been able to say it and get away with it. He would not be able to say that and get away with it. I'm telling you. Because his sponsors would have not allowed it. See, that's the crux to this whole thing. It's about money. See, if this was back in the days, those sponsors was not going to allow that. Those sponsors was more conservative back then than they are now. Because anytime when they sponsors come on and the sponsors come on and you saying something negative, they want to detach yourself because they don't want nothing negative coming to their business. They don't want nothing negative coming to their business. See, As long as those sponsors is paying that radio station, he gonna do whatever he want. They gonna let him do whatever he want to do. This is about money. This ain't about nothing else. Let's keep this real. If WYAB wasn't getting the sponsors that they was getting and getting paid the way they getting paid, the show be canceled. Cause if I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna be clear, if two of their major sponsors complain about him one time, he gone. He gone. I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. It's about money. And them people don't give a ding dong. As long as they can get away with it, they're going to get away with it. But let them sponsors disassociate themselves from his rhetoric. He going to have a slip of the tongue one day, and that's going to throw a monkey wrench in that whole entire program. See, let me tell you something. What I was so concerned with before I started to do this show right here. What I was more concerned with, because I did some writing about it, soul searching about it, and I was like, I just don't want nothing like no harm or nothing like that to come to him. Somebody negative out here in these streets commit some harm to this cat. But you know what? I'm not so much care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I mean, that right there is now is further from my mind, because when I sit back and reflect, and I think about the experiences that I've experienced in my life dealing with radio stations, TV stations, and things of that nature, I know what this is about. And I'm telling you, y'all, if one of their major sponsors, or two of their major sponsors, disassociate themselves from his rhetoric, the show gonna be canceled. But as long as they good and they happy and they getting their information out on time, and and everything, and there's no type of negative publicity coming to those businesses and things like that, that man gonna keep his job. And that's what this is about, y'all. Money. Corporate money. That's all it's about. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I say this, I say it again. I know I'm sounding like a broken record. Had this been back in the days, he would have never got on the air. He would have never got on the air. Never. Why do you think they put Rush Limbaugh on the platform that he was on? They wasn't gonna mainstream that dude. They wasn't gonna mainstream him, because then nobody want to associate with his rhetoric. So you be mindful. I'm gonna tell you something, Mr. Edwards, and now I'm talking to you. You got one time with the slip of that tongue. One time. You already talk negative. You make these nice nasty remarks, and you swear up and down it's the truth. It may be your truth, but I don't subscribe to your truth, sir. And I'm gonna keep monitoring your channel, because somebody has to do it. Believe me, but let me tell you this, and let me be your faithful warner, sir. If you keep that mess up, eventually, your show gonna get canceled. Your show is going to get canceled. Because all it takes is a slip of the tongue. And that's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And that means it's all in a matter of time that you, sir, are going to have a slip of the tongue. I'm telling you. That pink thing inside your mouth is mightier than a sword. It's mightier than a sword. It's just as powerful as that pen. And that slip of that tongue, while you on platforms like that, will hurt you pretty bad, bro. I'm your faithful warner. So you need to be very careful on what you're saying. You need to change. You need to lighten up on your rhetoric. Because you need a job. We all need a job. I believe everybody needs a job. That's why I've never believed in nobody should be fired. They should just be placed somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in firing nobody ever, unless they really do something really, really negative, stealing or something like that. But I'm telling you, lighten up on your rhetoric, because you don't need a slip of the tongue. If you really say you've repented, then repent and don't play. Because I promise you, if you say you repent, whatever God you serve will strike down on you with great vengeance. And you will know He is God. So don't play. If you're going to repent, you need to repent. And come up off them remarks. If you're going to save Jackson, join this fight. Stop playing games with the city. Don't play no games with the city. Trying to impress people. Because I'm going to tell you straight up and down, I ain't impressed. And maybe nobody is going to listen to this video. Maybe nobody going to view this video. Maybe they may not. But I can tell you one thing. If one person do, that word is going to spread. I'm telling you, I'm your faithful warner. It's all a matter of time.